Welcome to this edition of More Getting Asked For podcast. Tuesday night, July 22nd, just after 9 o'clock. Welcome back, Trev. Another week off. Busy with work, I know. Summer, kind of we just talked right before hitting record here, just kind of what we're going to talk about. And maybe first here, let's just talk about summer, how fast it goes. We're, 3/4 of the way through July. Vacations are all right around the corner here for a lot of people. The end of baseball, everybody's got their USSSA state championship links up because there's 87 championships in every state and every level. It's fun to see it, and I understand all that. And then, once the calendar flips to August, I'm going on vacation for a week. I should be able to do the podcast from Branson. I'm going to Branson for 4 or 5 days. And then, golf starts April 11th or August 11th. And then it's just right back at it. And Iowa State kicks off 1 month and 1 day from today, August 23rd. They kick off in Dublin. So I'm going to name this one Summertime Flyby. And summer is flying by as usual. And the older you get, and I know you're starting to see this a little bit, the hours and the days may go slow, but the weeks and months and years start going pretty fast.
Yeah, the year's definitely flying by. We've got family vacation in Omaha starting next week. So We'll take a little bit of time off for that. And then going to be on the road most of August, going to be in California, Vegas, Phoenix for about 3 straight weeks. So August is going to be a busy month for work. So you taking a couple vacation days before that all gets started. But we've got the NFL next week, Thursday night, the Hall of Fame game. We spoke about this before. The game's probably going to, the game's going to probably suck, but right. At least it's football on the TV. So it'll be good. It'll be good to watch a little bit. As you mentioned, Iowa State game is coming up here soon. So yeah, football is really not too far away. And like you said, you got golf starting up pretty quick, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, it's Iowa State actually reported to camp today. That's insane. I know my last year there with Iowa State football in 2002, we played early that year in Arrowhead against Florida State, and we had to report in July, but I think it was like July 28th. I mean, it was a whole nother week after this. I'd have to go back and look at a schedule or something for sure, but I know it was July, but it was not July 22nd, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's early for college. It feels like it still feels like it's the middle of summer, which I guess it kind of is. But football is really not too far away. So that's always a good thing. And yeah, like you said, if you can make it work from Branson, that's great. If not, no big deal. But how you said you're down there for a week?
Yeah, we're going. I think we leave August 3rd, and then I got to get back. And we're going to leave Wednesday. So just Sunday to Wednesday. My parents will be down there all week. My kids are staying down there with them a couple extra days. Yeah, Branson is just a good time. My parents have a timeshare there, so it doesn't cost me anything. So it's a nice one. We're going to go out on the lake a day. We're going to go to Silver Dollar City for a day. And then one day just kind of do whatever and then back home. So pretty quick for us. But then, a show every night, and Dolly Parton Stampede or Dixie Stampede, whatever you want to call it, is a staple down there. I like going to see that. And then, I don't know, my parents, they go down there a lot. There's some magic show they want to see, and we're all going to go watch that or whatever. So, kind of take advantage of my parents a little bit with their vacation and everything, but it's nice to get away for a few days with moving and just, Tyler running everywhere and getting Paige where she needs to be. She's been staying with us a little bit more, which is a really good thing. I'm really happy about that. And just running around with kids that are, and that's the other thing. On Thursday, Tyler turns 13, so both my kids will be teenagers. So it's flying by and just trying to take advantage of it. We can, trying to play a little golf here and there, not as much as I'd like. I think next Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe headed into Carroll. I think to see our buddy TJ with Zach and stuff. So, and then, like I said, then on vacation.
Tell Tassel I said you're welcome.
Yeah, that needs to be discussed. What were you doing, Trevor?
I was high on John Rahm.
I think you might have been high on something else there, Trev. I'll be honest.
No, I just thought I thought he had a really good chance. So it paid off for the Masters when everyone was giving me crap for taking Rory. I got that one right.
Right.
This one I got dead wrong. So yeah, make sure you tell Tassel I said you're welcome.
We're gonna make Tassel buy at least one round of beers for us. Kind of inside joke there. We have a golf draft, and I know we've talked about that on the podcast for each major. Carry over from the U.S. Open, so the pot doubled. No one actually had JJ Spawn, which makes sense. Trevor had the first pick, and he picked John Rahm, and then so our buddy TJ got the second pick, and he picked Scheffler. I was in the running for a while with Fitzpatrick. I'm like, that'd been sweet, but he faded, and Scheffler just does what he does, and and this is becoming the talk. When he is on and when he is playing well, no one can beat him. He's winning by 3-4 shots each time he wins a major. He's a little bit older than Tiger was when he kind of burst onto the scene, but in the same amount of time, he's winning the same number of tournaments, same majors. The difference is he's 29 and Tiger was like 24 when it was all going on.
Yeah, we talked about it when he won previously. How many majors is he going to get to in his career? And I think we kind of said the number was 9.5, the over under.
Yep.
Can he get to 10? He's still got a long ways to go. I mean, he's got 4 right now. 6 more would be pretty tremendous. But I think the best thing that Scottie Scheffler's got going for him, other than he's just a great player, is he's so level-headed. He doesn't get too high with the highs and too low with the lows. And he's even spoke about it too. He likes the grind. He likes practicing. And I think as long as he's still, if that attitude sticks long-term, then he should be able to win a lot more majors.
Well, and he's gonna. I kind of look at him a little bit like Koepka. He's kind of always there in the big tournaments. That's what he sets. And now that he's won enough of these, he's going to be U.S. Open is his only one in the career Grand Slam he doesn't have, and so he's going to set his schedule, set his life. He's got one kid. I'm going to assume he's. In a year or so, he's probably going to have another one. That's just kind of how it works at that age. I heard Jordan Spieth talk about a little bit where he doesn't do the corporate things. He doesn't do he golfs and he spends time with his family doing whatever that entails. And that can be whatever, but that's his life. He doesn't, go do all the other stuff, and he's not in a lot of commercials. He's not, I'm sure he's getting paid well by TaylorMade and Nike. So when they ask him to do something, he'll probably do it. But other than that, he doesn't have to do anything. There's only like 5 players in the, ever to win $90 million on tour, and he's already one of them. He's under 30.
Yeah, you mentioned he needs the U.S. Open. I mean, I'm pretty confident he's going to get one at some point and get the career Grand Slam, which is kind of crazy because we just saw Rory get his Grand Slam.
Right.
And if Scheffler wins the U.S. Open in the next year or two, I mean, that would be pretty wild to have 2 Grand Slam winners in that close of amount of time.
And I think there's some, so it probably won't happen, but next U.S. Open is at Shinnecock in New York, and it will be his 30th birthday on Sunday, which also I'm assuming is Father's Day. It usually is. But it'll be his 30th birthday as well.
Get your bets in now before the numbers drop even more.
Yeah.
We might have to do something, starting next year where we could still do the same thing that we do now, but maybe have another one too, where you pick 5 or 6 golfers and do a combined score. Because if you don't get Scotty, Rory, or Bryson, it feels like you got no chance. Were
you in that one when Mike Foster did that?
Yeah. And then Taylor ran one online too, where you'd, I don't know if it was every week for tournaments, but it was a lot. And, if your guys missed the cut, they got a certain score.
They got the highest score of whoever made the cut.
Yeah. So we might have to look into that too, because like I said, if you don't get one of the big three, it feels like you just, you got no chance just about.
Yeah, I remember making bets and doing things in the early 2000s. I mean, it was truly Tiger versus the field. And the bet every week was the field, but you really had to think about it. And there were certain courses that, like Firestone, the whatever one in Akron, or Tiger won like 8 of 10 times. That was when you had to pick Tiger. I mean, it was no option. You had to, and he won most of the time.
Yeah, and Scotty's starting to get to that point now. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't even looked what the odds would be for him to win the Masters next year or any of the majors, but I'm sure the number is going to drop from now until the Masters.
Yeah, it's really hard to win the Masters back to back, so that would be the thing. I guess it wouldn't be. It'd be 2 and 3 years because Rory won it this year.
Mm-hmm.
He won the PGA. And those are a little bit easier just because they are different golf courses. So it's not like you're winning the same. It's the same tournament, but it's not the same course. Like if you win the Masters back to back, you're just on fire at that course. Now I do expect him to. I mean, the bet would be top 5, and I would take that bet right now. If it was have to be top 5 or out of the top 5, I think I'd take the top 5 bet right now. He's already won it. He's already won it twice.
I'm sure he's minus money to top 5 for sure.
Right.
I would assume. And another thing I was going to ask you too, I think most people agree. I wanted to get your opinion, but the 2 best majors to watch is the Masters and then the Open Championship, because it feels like a marathon, like it's all day long, like it never stops. I woke up on Thursday like 3 a.m, and I was like, oh yeah, golf's on. So I threw it on for about an hour till I fell back asleep, and then it feels like it's on all day. I think the first 2 days went till about 3 o'clock out here, but then it starts up again at 11:30 at night. The TV
it's it's why I like watching the U.S. Open when it's on the West Coast. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They can start and play all night, and being that far north, it just stays light longer. I don't know if you still listen to Murph and Andy there on Iowa Everywhere Network. He was just in Norway, Sweden, and Denmark, and he was taking pictures like at 11 o'clock at night, and it's still light. Now, Ireland isn't that far north compared to like Norway and Sweden, but it's just different. And is there more people in the British Open to start? Like usually in the U.S., it's 154 people or 156 people tee off, like at the U.S. Open. Is it the same number or is it more? But what I love about the British Open is you wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you turn it on, and the leaders are going to tee off in an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Now, they need to work on their time of play, because I know on Thursday when it was raining, I think Rory's group took almost 5 hours and 54 minutes to play. So I think that's why it took a little bit longer than normal, but it's nice to be done at 1 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, and it's over, and then you go do something for the rest of the day instead of Sunday afternoon watching it from 4 to 6 o'clock to end it.
Yeah, some of the golf tournaments, back in the day when we played noon group and stuff, you would finish up on a Sunday with maybe enough time to watch an hour of the end of the tournament.
You go over to you watch it there in the clubhouse, or you go over to Fix House and watch it in the shed, and there's an hour left or whatever. And if you want to watch the British Open, you can't play noon group because it's going to end at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever it was.
Yeah,
they teed off at 8:30. So yeah,
I like the time difference. It's nice because I'm the type of guy, I wake up a lot in the middle of the night. It's like, oh, throw the TV on, put golf on. So it's fun. Yeah, the pace of play though, they've got to get that fixed. We've seen baseball work on that with the pitch clock,
and it's worked.
Yeah, it has. And golf needs to. That's a problem that I think would be a pretty easy fix. They've just got to enforce the rules, right?
Right. The rules are there, and Bryson talked about this. He goes, it's real easy to stop it. You name the names. You just say, if Bryson is the one that's always getting timed, next time Bryson's time, 2-stroke penalty. It's real simple. You name names, and it'd be Like he said, he goes, I'm very deliberate on the green. I take a little longer there, but my drive, on the tee box and in the fairway or rough, I play pretty quick, so it evens out. He goes, I'm not the fastest player, but I'm not the slowest player either. He had a pretty good commentary about that. He goes, it's pretty easy to fix. You just got to name names.
Yeah, I heard him say that. He said, just name the names and it'll start putting pressure on those players publicly. And of course, if they're getting penalized strokes. So It's a kind of a 2-for-1 there. And that's, if they can get that fixed, golf's in a pretty good spot right now. I feel like, even though we still have the live split, but the PGA Tour, from everything I've heard, has had a really good year.
I agree. I did go back and look at like the final leaderboard, and Bryson had, it was kind of a joke. They were kind of laughing. The last 3 days, Bryson played really well. The first day he did not, obviously. And I saw a meme or whatever, practice round, and then the 3 actual rounds, and he would have been right there. You might have seen that one too. I do think there is something to that. They're not used to 4 days of the mental. It's mental more than physical. Those guys are all in physical great shape. And then here's the other thing is those guys get paid so much money up front. Now, the regular PGA Tour guys do too, but not just to show up. They do kind of have to earn it more on tour. They don't get $4 million because their team won an event, even though they might not have played great. Probably they played okay. But when you're making $150 million and it doesn't matter if you show up to golf tournaments and play well or not, over time, do you lose your edge a little bit? Mm-hmm. And I think, like a Dustin Johnson, Koepka. And then the other thing is, and this is real life too, their kids are getting a little bit older. They're having more kids. They're doing more things. I follow Koepka and Jenna Sims, his wife, and they're all over the world doing things like with their kid doing, and they should be. Koepka's had one heck of a career. He's made a lot of money. She makes great money, I'm sure, as a model. I mean, it's not just him, and able to travel for work for both of them. They take their son around and they see the world, and if he doesn't play this week or whatever, and they don't have to play as much either. That's the other thing. They have more time to travel. And the real baffling one is Cam Smith. That is one, and I saw a lot of people talk about that this week. He didn't make the cut in any major, I don't think, and I don't think he won this year on the Live Tour as well. So he wanted that extra time. He wanted that better family life or life off the course. Well, he needs to get it back on the course to get back in rhythm and to be one of the best golfers in the world.
Yeah, I definitely think that players lose their edge. You give them all this money, it's just human nature. Not all of them are gonna keep that edge, like you said, going. Bryson and Rahm's kind of getting it back now. Those two are kind of the outliers. And I think I support the Live guys when they left. I still do. It was their right to do it. Our government does business with Saudi Arabia. Why can't our individuals? But I think the biggest problem that Live has, and it's not a problem that they can fix, there's no history at any of the tournaments that they play at.
Right.
Whereas on the PGA Tour or with the other majors, we have historic moments at Augusta, Pebble Beach, Sawgrass, St. Andrews, and there's none of that with Live. And you can't. Doesn't matter how much money you have, you can't generate that. That's just something that's happened over time on the PGA and in the majors. That there's these iconic moments, and we watch the majors and some of these golf matches. Obviously for the players, but sometimes we watch for the course too, depending where the tournament's at.
Yeah, obviously for the Masters, and then when the U.S. Open's at Pebble Beach or Shinnecock or wherever you want to say it, or the British Open when it's at Carnoustie or St. Andrews, you are watching the course. I'd love to get to United Kingdom and Ireland and England and get to. You're not going to be able to play all those courses, but just get to those towns because I believe you can just walk around them. And they are very much more lenient. And it is, I heard someone say this, that the towns are built around the golf courses. Truly.
Mhm.
It's not the course that was put in and then houses around it. The golf course was there. There might have been a village or whatever, but these courses are hundreds of years old. And then they built the town around it, which is amazing. And it just baffles my mind because I've never been over there and seen it. But you can kind of see how that is. And a lot of those courses are closed one day a week. And you've seen pictures of people and dogs and everything just walking up and down. Can you imagine Pebble Beach shutting down and everybody just walking along the fairway and the cliffs and watching, or Augusta shutting down for a day and letting everybody just walk around it? I mean, Fred Ridley would blow a gasket. He would die of a heart attack if dogs ran across his greens, or, they probably have fences there to keep deer out. I mean, that's just a natural thing on a golf course, but they would absolutely go insane if a deer ate the wrong flower or walked across the green at Augusta.
Augusta probably has snipers in the trees looking for make sure they go on the course.
Even a squirrel. I mean, a bird just land on the green and start poking around, just looking for worms or bugs or whatever.
Yeah, I know some customers that have gone over and done St. Andrews and some of the other courses, and they say it's an awesome trip. It's where golf started, and that would be an awesome, once in a lifetime trip to go on.
Yeah, it would be fun to go. And, like I've said this many times, I would love to go to Ireland and go to that game. But if I'm going to go to Ireland and spend the money to get there, I want to spend, a week to 10 days in Ireland/England, and I want to make a vacation out of it. And it's just not the right time right now for that. So it's just not in the cards. But, yeah, I want to get over there. Obviously I'd love to play golf, but if you had a trip over there just to go do all the stuff and at least stop and see it all, then maybe try to take another trip and make it a golf trip. But definitely worth doing both.
And before we finish on golf, I know we had a heck of a finish at the city tournament. Cody and Luke Gomat played, and Luke wanted a playoff. Were you there to see it or anything?
I was not there. I don't know exactly what I know. Luke shot 68-74. And then Cody went 71-71. So 2 over got you into the playoff, which is a little higher than normal. But I don't know about out there, Trev, but it has been wet here. It rains about every day. We've gotten lots and lots of rain, flash flooding around, not necessarily here in Oskaloosa, but Des Moines got like 9 inches of rain in the last week and a half. Some of the rivers are starting to fill up. The lakes are starting to fill up. And that's, in the month of June, we didn't get very much rain. I moved to the new house here June 4th. I've only mowed twice, which is really weird for June. Now, I have new sod, and so it's I hope is growing down, not so much up, trying to get rooted and everything. But we're at the point of the year now where there's lots of times I'm not mowing. Grass everywhere is just growing and green. And it rained and had a little thunderstorm here tonight. Not super long tonight, but again tonight. And it's been super hot and humid here, which lays into that. When it gets super humid, you're 4 or 5, 6 o'clock, it's just going to blow up a storm.
Yeah, we could use some of that rain, but we got a thunderstorm going here tonight too. A pretty long one. It's been, I don't know, since like 4 o'clock this afternoon. So should be going all night. But yeah, no, that's there's nothing better than a playoff for a city tournament, the amateur, at Oski Golf. That's always fun to sit and watch. I kind of miss standing around the 18th green or wherever they're playing and seeing who comes out on top.
Right. And it's, 2 friends of mine. I mean, I know you probably don't know Luke as well. But he married a friend of yours here from Oskaloosa. Obviously I work with Luke, and I've worked with Luke for a long time and played a lot of golf with Luke. We've been Ryder Cup teammates against each other. We've went against each other trying to get into the Ryder Cup. He works hard. Like when, in the spring when, the girls are out there on the range and he has baseball practice and he comes out and hits a bucket of balls and he's working on things. He works hard. And then Cody, one of our real good friends right here in town, which I see him and Durande just right down the road every day. I wave to them. Right now they're up on their framing and and putting, the roof sheeting on and everything right now. So I wave down at them and they drive by, and Cody's just steady. He does everything well. Really, really good iron player. And you make a few putts, you're right there.
Yeah, really consistent player, good iron player, doesn't really make very many mistakes very often, a lot of pars, and pars will typically get the job done for you.
Yep. All right, let's move on to let's go to baseball real quick. The Brewers have won 11 in a row. Now, I don't know how they did tonight. They might still even be playing. And I know this isn't your thing, but they've got 60 wins. They got the most wins in the National League. They've swept the Dodgers 2 times in a row in the last 10 days, which, I was up there a couple weeks ago, watched one of those games. The Dodgers are like 2-10 in their last 12. So they passed the Cubs and the Dodgers for the best record. And the question is, what's wrong with the Dodgers? I would say nothing. It's just a swoon in the season. 162 games over the course of time. They're going to go win 10 games in a row and offset this, because you really only win 6 out of 10 anyway, maybe 6.5 when it's all said and done. They're going to get in the playoffs, but the Brewers are on fire right now. The Cubs are doing really well. And then I saw a thing now, and until baseball is over, which would be roughly about the first week in November, there's going to be baseball on essentially every day. Which is, obviously once football starts, we love that. But the thing with football is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday, not much. So you turn on a baseball game. Now, we get later in the year, football goes to every day with the MAC and everything else going in the middle of the week. But to start, there's not as many Thursday night games. And, obviously the Monday night games are there. And Friday night games kind of start more later in the year. That first, what I call the second weekend, it'll be Iowa State's third game, but like the Labor Day weekend, games are every day. But, baseball now is where we're going to start seeing teams trade. If they're a seller, if they're a buyer, and we're going to see they're going to start separating themselves out. And this becomes a little bit more fun time of year to watch baseball.
Yeah, I was just looking. The Brewers in the last 10 games, they've almost won as many as the Rockies have all season.
Yeah. How many have the Rockies won all year?
24 yeah, I just saw. But it looks like the Brewers are tied 0-0 in the fourth right now, if that's updated.
Yeah. Who are they playing right now? I know the Twins are out at the Dodgers right now. So
playing the Mariners right now. But 10 in a row is really impressive. I'd like to see the Cubs get in. That's kind of the team I root for when I'm watching baseball. But yeah, when toward the end of the season, last few weeks, and then playoffs, I tune in just like a lot of people do. It's tough for me to pay close attention to it during most of the regular season just because I'm not a huge fan. But it does sound like ratings are up, attendance is up. We talked about the pitch clock earlier, so baseball seems to be in a pretty good spot right now.
Yeah, there's not the 3.5, 4 hour games like there used to be. Used to be, a Mark Burley or whatever would always have the game over a little bit over 2 hours. But I wasn't big on some of the changes that Major League Baseball has done to do that with, the 3-batter minimum for a reliever, banning the shift, just things like that. But it has made the game better, and it has made the game faster. They don't. Biggest thing is the batters don't get out of the box and the pitchers don't walk around and everything. I saw a thing not too long ago. Nomar Garcia-Parra could not have played today because he couldn't have changed his batting glove, unvelcro it and velcro it about 8 times in between each pitch. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, he would have.
Remember that? You remember that? I mean, it was unbelievable.
What was I going to ask you here? Oh, do you know what any idea what the all-time National League record is for games run one in a row? I know the Athletics, Moneyball, whatever year that was, they won 20 or 21 in a row, something like that.
Yeah, I know that the Twins have something like that too. The Twins have like a 18 or 19 in a row. In fact, I think earlier this year, the Twins won 13 games in a row. I would say it's around 20 games. I mean, that's just and then I think either right before that or right after it, the Twins lost like 9 in a row. So essentially it was just barely over 500. And that's how it all works out. You know, if you win 100 games, you're had a heck of a season. And that means you still lost, 62 games. So it's just a little bit over 2/3 of your games anyway. So baseball is just a game of failure, and that's one thing I'm really trying to get with my son. He's very successful. He bats 500. And, I mean, just gets on base almost 700% of the time. And it's like, that's not realistic. You're going to get out more. And the one time they get out, or the 2 times they get out of the 10 times, he gets so mad at himself. It's like, dude, you're okay. You're going to get out more. And I do think going to that baseball game and watching Ohtani go 2 for 4 and, hit one to first base, and they went stepped on first base, and he just turned around, ran to the dugout. It didn't show any emotion or anything. That's just life. And I do think that helps, and I hope he watches that and learns from that.
He will over time. If he's still young, he wants to be perfect. It's kind of the same thing with golf too. When you go out and play around, how many fairways are you actually going to hit? How many greens in regulation? But even if you're missing fairways and greens, you still got to battle through it and try to get those pars. And with baseball, I mean, what they say for teams at least, win 2 out of every 3, because most times you play a 3-game series. So if you're winning 2 out of 3, you're doing really good.
Yeah, try to win each series. That's all you're trying to do. You're not trying to sweep series. And then kind of last year, we don't have to go super long today, is the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, All-Star game, hurt again, not participating at all, not participating tonight. I know they were playing the Liberty tonight. They were down 6 last I saw, with about 8 minutes left. I don't know how it finished.
They ended up losing, but it was a close game. It was a good, lost by 14, but it was a close game for the first 3 quarters, I should say. Yeah,
it was about 8 minutes left when I saw it. I think they were down 6. So they've got a real question. Like, do you sit her 10 more games and hopefully you can stay in the playoffs, and then hopefully she's healthy for the last, 10 games or so, and then for the playoffs? Because obviously something is wrong. Because whether it's a new injury or an old injury or a new injury because of the old injury, I do think it's all tied together. And yes, you want to win this year, but the WNBA needs her to play for 10, 15 more years. And the Indiana Fever need her to play for 10 or 15 more years. So in the big scheme of her career and the life of the WNBA and her career as an Indiana Fever player, this year doesn't matter, unfortunately. What do they need to do? What are they going to do? And what should they do, I guess?
Well, the good news is there's 6 teams in the Eastern Conference and 4 make the playoffs. Connecticut's the worst team in the league, so I think they're a few losses away from being mathematically eliminated.
So they just have to beat one team.
And Chicago lost again tonight. Chicago's in 5th place. So as long as Chicago keeps losing, or the Fever kind of stay on par with Chicago because they've got a nice lead on them, then they're going to get in the playoffs. So to me, I'd set Caitlin 10 to 15 games if need, no problem, because as long as the India Fever can go 500, they should be fine. And ideally, you'd like to get her back with 5 or 6 games left in the regular season, get her cardio up, and gel a little bit with the new teammates, get her rhythm back. But if she needs to sit for 10 games, I totally agree. It's about long term, and this team's had so much nonsense going on and injuries this year. Coach missing games, Caitlin and Sophie missing games, DeWanna Bonner nonsense. You almost wonder if they can just get some good luck the second half of the season here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch it like you do, but yeah, is the Stephanie White thing, is that a family thing too?
Yeah. her wife's name. I can't think of it, but they've had some family sicknesses going on, so she's missed some time as a coach. But like I said, it's coaches miss games, players have missed games. DeWanna Bonner situation, it just it's one thing after another, and it feels like it's never ending right now. And you hope that injury luck. We talk about that with football a lot, but it goes for any sport. Some years you get lucky and you avoid the injury bug, and other years it just decimates your team. So, yeah, but if she needs to sit for 10, 12, 15 games, I think they're still in a good enough spot as of right now that they can survive.
Yeah. And then, kind of the last thing, the shirts that the team wore coming out for the All-Star game, I think it was pay us what you owe us. I get the idea of that shirt. I truly understand it, but it was not exactly the right phrase that should have been used, because what you owe us is not the right way to say it. Because nobody owes you anything in life. That's to everybody for anything. And then, right or wrong, that league has never made money. Now, it's the closest to ever making money as it is right now. So I understand why there's, should Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese be making more than $75,000 a year? Absolutely. That is not what I'm saying. Both those players need to make more than that. I 100% agree. And then but most of those players are getting what they deserve and have earned. And, don't make the wrong people mad, or they're going to pull their funding, and then you might be in a world of hurt.
The league's close to making money, I think. If it's not this year, the next year or two, I think they are going to turn a profit here eventually. I saw something that the value of the franchises has tripled, quadrupled. I mean, there's
some of them even 10 times, because there was one that was sold for maybe $25 or $30 million 3 years ago that's valued at $200 million now. And the new teams are kind of valued at $200 million. So the trajectory is up, but I believe they still lost $40 million last year. So I saw a joke, and right or wrong, whatever, is okay. Then every player in the WNBA needs to pay the NBA, like $550,000 or whatever it was to cover it.
Yeah, the shirts probably weren't the best thing. I think there's going to be a work stoppage. It seems almost inevitable. Now, from my understanding, the revenue split is 91% to 9%, and the NBA is 50-50, I think is what I heard. So, and I had a sports show played earlier today, and I could be wrong on this. It was background noise, but I think the players are pushing for 25%. So from 9 to 25.
And that's what people don't understand. It is, and this is what college football is going to come to, and it's just yes, it's all bargained. It's the owners get their share, the players get their share. If the owners wanted to change that from 50-50 to 60-40, they wanted to keep 60%. Well, the players would get other things, or the players have to agree to that, or whatever it is. Or if it went 60-40 players, owners, they would, bargain it some way. So I do think, from 9 to 25 is a big jump. Now, I think they probably deserve that. But maybe that's where they're going to push. And then, the owners and the league are going to say, 18%, and they're going to come into some, and that's okay. And then the next time it comes around, you increase it a little bit more. And then hopefully you get to that 50-50. But until they truly turn a profit, it's going to be hard to get that percentage jumped up.
Yeah, I would think the owners, they don't want a work stoppage because, again, momentum is really good right now. But, yeah, you're right. If, say they meet at 15, 18, 20%, whatever it is, and then years down the line, whenever it goes up again, maybe they could get more. But, for bargaining, it's like the NFL. The WNBA went to 44 games this season from 40 last year. And, if they want a higher percentage, I wouldn't be surprised if they push for a 50-game schedule.
Yep. Well, because that's how the owners make money, is selling the arena, and then more games on TV, and you get so much a game. That's how they make money, and that's why everybody says baseball needs to go down to 154 games or whatever. It's never going to happen unless they want their salaries to go down, because that'll be the trade-off. You want to go to 154, then your per game, whatever, say you're making $50 million a year divided by 162. Okay. Now, whatever that is, okay, now we take away 8 games of that. So now you make, $44 million or whatever it is. I'd have to do math, and I'm not here to do math. But that's what they would say. Instead of 50, now you get 44. So actually, what would happen if everybody wants to keep getting more, and that's why the NFL keeps adding more games, because the NFL they've always used it as a 20-game schedule. It's just there were 4 preseason games and 16 regular season. But when you bought a season ticket to the Bears or the Chiefs, whatever, you were paying for 10 home games. That preseason game against Minnesota was the same price as the Broncos coming to town on New Year's Eve, if you're a Chiefs fan. Same price, same everything. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that, but that's how it was. It's always been a 20-game schedule. It's just how you define those games.
And it's gonna stay to a 20-game schedule. What they're going to do in the NFL, obviously they play 17 regular season games now. They're going to bump that to 18,
yep.
And then the 2 preseason games.
Yep.
So that'll be the new schedule. And again, the cap's going up. NFL's making more money than they ever have, than they know what to do with. So that's going to be the trade-off. Players want more money, more percentage. You got to play an extra regular season game.
Yep, and that's just reality, because that's how the NFL makes money. Is those games are on TV. And the owners make money when you put 75,000 people in a stadium.
And what the WNBA is going to have to figure out, too, is if they go up to 48, 50, 55 games, whatever they do here eventually, if they do make that decision. There was a point, people have been complaining about the schedule, the players have been, because there's been a lot of back-to-backs. I mean, there was one point where the Fever played at like 6 o'clock one night, and then they had to be in Dallas the next night at 5 to play. And usually in basketball, you don't do back-to-back like baseball. Right. Because a lot of running, you like to have a day off, but they're going to have to adjust their schedule somehow. And I don't know exactly how they're going to do that. We've talked about this many times. The best thing that they have going for them, you're mixing in the baseball and football talk, is Tuesdays and Wednesdays are kind of wide open for sports coming up here soon. And that's where the WNBA can take advantage. But it's going to be tricky, because the more games they add, are they going to start sooner? And that's gets difficult with the women's March Madness.
Right.
Or are they going to go later and try to compete with football? So it's going to be tricky. But I think ultimately, though, there will be a work stoppage in the WNBA. It just depends how long.
I agree. And actually, I've heard that after the 26th season, there's going to be a baseball work stoppage as well. So I think both are going to be coming up. And I understand why. The players have to just be watching these owners sell these teams for so much money. Lakers selling for $10 billion, whatever, Tampa Bay's. I mean, these people have bought these teams for $200 million in 1995 and now selling it for, $8 billion. That percentage is insane. You don't understand the difference in $200 million to $8 billion. That is a lot of percentage. And they weren't even one of the high payers. They're just whatever. They're good, and they've been ran real well. And then are they going to move across to Jacksonville, because the guy that's buying them is from Jacksonville and stuff like that? Because obviously Tropicana Field got tore apart, so they don't have a stadium anyway. So they got to figure out what they're going to do anyway. So they just up and move it across the state.
Yeah, if you're rich enough, if you can invest in sports, that's probably the safest thing to invest in right now. I mean, there's 2 things that still work on TV here in America: sports and politics. Americans, we like both of those things. So yeah, if you could have invested in just about any sport 10, 20, 30 years ago, and you turn around and sell it, your profits are pretty substantial, like you said.
Now, I know it's just completely different, but I pretty believe George Halas started the Bears for $500 in like 1920. And I'm pretty sure. I think the Rooneys purchased the Steelers or started the Steelers for $2,500. Now $2,500 in 1930 was a lot of money, and so they were rich then as well. I think George Steinbrenner bought the Yankees for like $35 million in like 1970. I mean, it's crazy, and they might be the most valuable franchise in sports. And I know Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys in '88 or '89 for, I think it was less than $100 million. And again, it's them or the Yankees as the most valuable franchises in the U.S.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if both those went on the open market, or to whoever could afford to buy them. Of course,
it's not open. It's not open. It's a very closed market.
It's not open, but just to see who could to see what one came out on top to sell for more if they both sold at the same time.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. But again, as we talk about sports, they're just fun, and that's why they still make money on TV. Is you can't make it up. The shot, just like Roy McIlroy hitting that shot out of the rough and the other ball pops up. You can't make that up. And then just the look on his face looking at that ball. I mean, I'm assuming that wasn't a ball that a pro hit there. That's probably someone like you and me that was just playing there and lost the ball and said, hell with it, we left it. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, that could have been stuck in the ground for quite a while. But, yeah, you're probably right, because when they have the professional tournaments there, we've talked about this before, they've got the patrons are all looking, plus you've got other people out there helping look for golf balls if you hit a bad drive or something. So, yeah, I would assume that's from a player like you or me.
Hey, I hit it there like 2 months ago. You suppose that was mine? That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. But, yeah, no, sports all around is in a pretty good spot, actually. And, I don't know how many more topics you had tonight, but one more that I did want to discuss was Portnoy, Barstool Sports, yes. FS1. I think that's a really good move for them. Obviously, Pat McAfee going to College Game Day, whatever it was, a few years ago. Now that it's been, they need someone. They need some juice on the FS1 show, the Big Noon Kickoff, and he'll be the perfect guy for that.
Yeah, and we have talked about this, but I really like the Fox show. Urban Meyer is great. I really liked Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush together. Obviously, Reggie Bush had a disagreement, and he's not there anymore. Now it's Mark Ingram. I think he's okay. He's not as good as Reggie Bush, and some of that I think was him and Leinart went off of each other because they've known each other forever and were teammates and everything. But I think Matt Leinert's really good. Urban Meyer is phenomenal. And then the other thing that's good about that show is it is only 2 hours instead of 3. So they don't have the filler time. And then right or wrong, they didn't have the Corso show at the end, where it was a production at the end and the headgear, which we're all going to miss. And we all love that. But, that's 20 minutes or 25 minutes out of a show where they're trying to get him up there. Everybody makes their picks and everything. And then he does his wave and picks his headgear, which is ending this year. So it might come, but Portnoy is good. Portnoy he's divisive. He is a direct counter to Pat McAfee. They know McAfee has been very good for College Game Day, so Fox is making a play to do their guy. They're trying to get a younger demographic. The millennial, just the YouTube influence and the internet influence people on there. He's going to say some crazy stuff. He's got that East Coast brashness. I was watching one of his things today, and he was doing a one bite challenge thing, and some kids came up to him, and there must have been in New England, and they were Chiefs fans, and they were 49ers fans. He goes, "Man, I'm gonna have to move back to Massachusetts full time to get you guys Patriots fans again. We go 3 years without winning a title, and everybody's jumping ship. It hasn't been that long."
Yeah, Portnoy is great. I like him a lot. But you're right, he's divisive. That can be good though, and I think it's just going to be a really good move for Big Noon. And speaking of that, I think I sent you this a while back, but Big Noon will be in Ames for Iowa State, right?
Yeah. Yes, they will be. Game day will not be. This will be the first time in 3. The last 2 times they were in Ames, game day was there. I think I don't think it's Texas, Ohio State, but it might be. But I'm pretty sure they're at a Texas game that day. And some of that has to do with just the way the TV works. ESPN wants to be where an SEC game is. The Big Ten, or Fox wants to be where the Big Ten is. I don't think there's a lot of Big Ten good games that week. So they agreed to go just across the state to Ames. And Fox does have a little bit of media rights to the Big 12 as well. But I do think they had to petition to get this game on Big Noon. So, again, I don't know if it's been like set, but I'm assuming it'll be Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt on the call as well.
I hope it's those two. Those two are awesome. And I'm going to I want to get back for a game at some point this year. So Iowa State would be a good one, obviously. Yep. And then Iowa, versus Penn State or Oregon, one of those would be.
Yeah. And say, obviously you come back here. Obviously you're more than welcome to stay in the camper or stay right outside the camper. There'll be a lot of people around. Stay right there with us and eat and drink and everything with us right there. So we've got parking spots, we got camper, we got everything. So.
Well, I might have to hit you up on that. I want to get back for a game regardless. It's been a few years since I've been back for one. So there's some good there's a few good matchups for Iowa to get back for at least one.
Yeah. So, all right. Any other topics? I really don't have anybody. We're just short of an hour, so right about where we want to be anyway. And it is summertime, so we do go a little bit less because there isn't so much topics that we have to talk about. And we're getting there. Just a few more weeks where you got the recap and then the pre, where we might have to do an extra show or whatever in the middle of the week just to, do your recap and preview of the football games. So, but again, have a great rest of your summer, Trev, and everybody out there listening as well. Enjoy your summer, enjoy your time, enjoy your family or friends or whoever's important to you. Make memories. Spend time with your kids if you have them. You just, and I just want to say this too. I've been around in Southeast Iowa since 2003, Eddyville and Pella and Oskaloosa and Ottumwa and all this area. And, I've made some really good friends and met a lot of great people down here. And I know it's becoming home because in this last 2 weeks in Ottumwa, there might be more, but 3 people that I knew well and knew their families well, coached their kids, worked with them and everything. Parents and whatever, they passed away, and it has affected me. And it just, I'm thinking of those people. I don't know if they listen. I don't know if anybody else listens, but Zimmerman family, Cobbler family, and Moreland family. I am thinking of you guys and wishing you the best and praying for you guys right now. So this is home now for me, and it does affect you when you start seeing that people that you care about and knew, and just spend time with people you care about and love, because you never know. And all those people passed away way too soon.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of the time you've got with family, friends, any chance you get, especially teachers right now. You've got a little bit of time left before school starts up. So take advantage of it and then enjoy your vacation and everybody else before school gets started back up. So,
all right. Have a great week, Trev. We'll get with you next week. I'm probably going to go to Carroll, so it might have to be Monday night, but we'll talk about that. We'll get in communication and we'll get it done. Thanks everybody for listening. Tell your friends, tell your family. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.